Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Come on!
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's Wednesday. It's Walk On Wednesday. Walk On Wednesday is a day of the week where we bring somebody who's part of our community with a little interesting story to share and pick their brain for 5 or 10 minutes, then get them out of there. And then we go on with our show. So before we go on to our Walk On Wednesday guest, good morning, Kastuba. How are you?
I'm doing good, Raghunath.
Any announcements? I've got an announcement for you. I've got an announcement. I'm going to be on a podcast today, live 3 to 5. It's a hardcore podcast for hardcore people.
Oh, that Drew Stone thing?
Yeah, the Drew Stone podcast. It's their 300th episode. They asked me to talk. It's from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. If you could tolerate 2 hours of me, it'll probably, they want to talk about my book. And 3 to 5, and you can find it. It's a streaming video live on YouTube, or on Facebook. The New York Hardcore Chronicles. Maybe search for that.
New York Hardcore Chronicles.
See you there. Write me little messages on the live feed if you're gonna go check that out. If you care about that at all. Kastuba, anything up with you of interest?
Oh, every day is wonderful here. Today was a good day on the book. You know, I made a bit of a breakthrough. I'm hoping it'll play out well.
You know, the idea with the artistic creation, they say, is you just got to show up every day. Sometimes it's dry, it's flat, it's like a desert, and then when you least expect it, you get these spiritual downloads. They start to rain upon you, but he's got to show up at the regular time every day.
I was at a place where it seemed like I hit a roadblock. And at a certain point, I got the faith that this is good because when I come out of this roadblock, I'm going to be somewhere that I never even thought I would be before. So this roadblock, and it played out like that. I think it's going to play out well, Raghunath. What it was?
What?
Was the story of Vyasadeva.
Mm-hmm.
And how he, after writing all the Vedic literature, including the Mahabharata with the Bhagavad Gita, he's still feeling despondent. And then he goes to Narada, and Narada gives him instructions. And then he goes back and he kind of revises the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then the Bhagavatam opens up with its invocation, and then it's got its first, second, and third verses, and then it's got the first chapter. And I was trying to figure out how to. There's certain concepts within that story that you don't understand unless you explain them more.
Sure.
And I was trying. Do I get the concepts in before the story or the story after the?
Oh, right.
And then I finally figured out I'm going to weave the story throughout the chapters. You're going to keep coming back to it, you know. And
well, that's interesting.
Oh, maybe this is just what way it's meant to be. And so I'm hoping that that'll work out well, but it felt good to come out that end, and I got a clear picture of what I'm trying to do.
I think with writing, I'm convinced with writing, with art, with music, with lyrics, it's as if we're channeling. It's not like you're writing it. Something's writing it through you.
Yeah.
I always felt like that.
I was in front of the deities last night and today. And just
Yeah,
like,
and depending on your consciousness, you'll get the complete download.
well, my point is I was just there like, I'm here, I want to do this. I would like to serve you this way if you would like me to. But without without you deciding to use me this way, I can't do anything. And you really know when you're trying to write, you really know. It's like, I can be your instrument if you want. I would love to play that role. But if you don't use me that way, whatever I write is going to be entirely useless, I'm desperate for, if that's the way you'd like me to use me, I'd be forever grateful, even if it's just used in a small way, but it's a wonderful thing to bring your consciousness to anyone. I'll tell you something, Raghunath.
Tell me.
You were mentioning journaling before, and I think, like, let's say writing 250 words a day, where you just take your thoughts about your own spiritual practice or what you're studying or what you're learning, and you write 250 words or so. You do that, you got a book at the end of the year, but even if you don't.
Not only that, you've got really clear thoughts when you
have dialogue
my point. With people. You have very clear thoughts. It
forces you to clarify your thoughts.
Yeah.
And clarifying your thoughts on bhakti and clarifying your thoughts on Krishna, it's such a purifying thing to the mind, I recommend it. 200 words a day, 250 words a day, something like that. It's not that much.
It's not that much.
But it does make you sit down and think.
Well, all right. And we're all excited, and we're here to support it.
Thank you.
And don't worry, you can support me because I'm going to give a big push for my book when it's getting ready to come out.
All right.
But it's a great time to go to my link on my bio on my Instagram page and pre-order my book. That would be great. Appreciate that. Miss Mara, any announcements, please?
We have Bhakti Recovery Group meetings at 1 and 9:30 Eastern time today.
Is that like you're wearing a new sweatshirt today, Mara? I'm taking note of this. I think I don't think we've seen this before.
I've worn
it. A Christmas gift?
She's worn it many times.
Has she?
Many times.
Right. Maybe it was a Christmas gift, early one, or Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, something like that.
It's sort of an early gift.
It was an early gift for me.
Oh, you see, it was.
Yeah.
So you haven't worn it many times.
No, she has worn it many times.
How early is a Christmas gift is this thing?
Well, I didn't say it was a Christmas gift. It was just an early gift.
Early for what?
Early just because I love her. All right. Going on. Let's bring on Jiva G. Harry Ball. Good morning, Jiva G. How are you? From Jiva G Bhakti Recovery Group. Harry Ball, how are you?
Hello. I'm well. Thank you. Thank you for asking me to come today. How are you?
I think it's good. I'm okay. I'm actually okay. But, I'm walking around singing, "It's the most wonderful time of the year." And I know that this time of year is not necessarily the most wonderful time of the year. And songs like that can exacerbate people's suffering because, one, there's loneliness sometimes this time of year. There's depression. There's family of origin issues and dysfunction. There's
many opportunities to
maybe trauma. And when the whole world says the best thing you can do is get together with your family, other people may have other different opinions of that. What's the best way to deal if you're suffering from family trauma, family pain, family heartbreak, loneliness, and it makes you want to, instead of being joyful and go out and sing carols, it makes you want to cry. What's the best way to deal with that using, a healthy alternative?
That's a many faceted question and a good question. So thank you. And I can speak only from my experience, my strength and hope, coming from a 12-step and a bhakti lens. And through those lenses and through my experience, there are many ways, people who have a community, whether it's this Wisdom of the Sages community or the Bhakti Recovery Group community or an AA community, or yoga community, whatever community, these are resources, always not to feel alone. I know that holiday seasons have been, especially, I would say, I can't say especially, but because I've traveled, I've been in so many circles of 12 steps and been into like AA and NA and ACA and CA and all of those other programs, and CODA. I think everyone has their challenges when it comes to, their specific karma and their specific dharma and their specific anarthas and everything that we have to deal with. So, mine are, addictions and associated behaviors. For me, it was very clear that I had to set some healthy boundaries. And some years, each year was different. So, when I first got into recovery, I was sort of in a daze. So I just did the Christmas thing and, in a very uptight, tense sort of way. I had the good fortune of being 6,000 miles away from my family. I was in Germany when I got clean, so I spent it with other people's dysfunctional families, which was great to watch because I wasn't exactly into it, but it was it's using powerful tools. If you're in a 12-step program, please go to as many meetings as possible. Pick up the phone, call somebody else. Even if you're in a horrible position, I found for myself, reaching out to somebody else who I know is in let's say, a more miserable position than I am, and ask
so
how I
reaching
could be of
out,
service.
Reaching out, not like I need help, reaching out to help others.
Yes, that's helped me. That has helped me.
Oh, that's very good. You flipped that one. I like that.
Well, yeah, but that comes with a certain amount of practicing, a spiritual program and having a deep understanding. Not that I have that. I'm just saying that these are the things that come with practicing either a 12-step program, way of life, or, a bhakti way of life, understanding the true benefits and the win-win of being a servant of the servant. It's really beautiful. And, but there are some times where where I need help, where I desperately needed help. And, I always say this, I can't save my face and my ass at the same time.
I love that statement.
Yeah, it's really the best statement. And sometimes if I'm drowning, I'm just drowning, and I need to know that. And I'm not in that, position where I can choose the color of my lifeboat.
It's one. That's a good one too.
Yeah,
it's just a beautiful statement. Save my face or save my ass. Basically meaning like sometimes you got to be a little bit vulnerable. Sometimes it's got to be it gets a little ugly. And this is the beautiful thing about a spiritual pursuit is there's this reality, a real reality, and not just a front of what we're going through, and everything's fine and glossy and wrinkle free.
Absolutely.
So are you doing anything special for Bhakti Recovery over the holidays? Is there are there extra programs?
No, I don't think the community has gotten together this year for that. It's good that you're opting. I mean, that you're prompting that. So perhaps somebody in the Bhakti Recovery community would like to volunteer. I know that we're having just our regular meetings on that Monday, and
a hotline or something.
Well, I myself am available on German time if anyone needs to reach out. Maybe in the show notes you can. I don't know if you guys have show notes for this. Just reach out to Mara, and Mara will give you my number. And I'm sure that maybe anyone else who's available in the Bhakti Recovery group who's willing to do that would let me know, and I'll just let Mara know and give her a bunch of numbers. So I know that just actually connecting that with what you, Raghu, and also what Kastuba said about going through these processes, we have to always know that everything, this too shall pass. Yeah. Everything, all the good, all the bad, all the ugly, this too shall pass. Sometimes we're just a prisoner of our own feelings or of our own anarthas. And when we let those things run our lives, the outcome's not so great. And as Kastuba said before, if I'm not willing to ask Krishna for help and honestly asking Krishna to use me as a tool through these times or these tribulations, then the result is not going to be the greatest. And this is a matter of practice. It's not something that I just like, hey, I'm just going to snap my, I usually have to be beaten into that position. But, Kastuba doesn't, because Kastuba is just like that. I am the one who needs the 2x4 in order to say, Krishna, help me. I messed up her again, like I've gone wild, I've gone amok,
Well, let that grind bring you higher. We're going to get
Yes.
ground. We might just get ground up over the holidays, and let that grind bring our hands in the air, and trust Krishna. You know what kills me, Jiva, is I'm supposed to live up to some almost an unreal expectation of what a holiday is supposed to be. And I use that as like a mirror and a measuring stick of like how I should be and how it should look. And again, it should be one of these like charming 1955 television show of a holiday. And
Perry
it's just
Como special.
a Perry Como special, a Father Knows Best special, whatever it be.
May I say something on that? If you're not, well, I'll
Please.
let you finish. Go ahead.
Please, no, I'm done.
I think that's like that with anything about the expectations of ourselves and where we should be. I think it's the whole thing is why we're here, we're practicing bhakti, right? To say that, practically just to say that we have this high bar, we move towards this high bar, but we do have all of these anarthas and all these things and all these realities that get in the way. I think for me, myself, I can't say that this is, I think it's really important for me to know that the measuring stick that I have is my own personal measuring stick. Every single person has their own measuring stick. Now, we can either use that measuring stick as a magic wand, or we can use it to beat ourselves over the head. And
that's another good one.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to know, every single one of us, that every single one of we're all in a very unique position of our rebirth, every single one of them. And for me to compare myself to you, Raghu, or myself to you, Kastuba, which I do constantly, because we do want to get to a higher state,
Sure.
but we do want to get to the higher state that's available to us in our own personal journey through the guidance of Bhakti, Prabhupada, and for me, the 12 steps. So this is something where I find, and what I've found in the last years, and this helps me also through hard times, to say, sometimes I think like, well, what about Kastuba? He's just so perfect and he has to do this. And sometimes I get a little bit like, how can I talk to Kastuba? He's just, like,
I feel
he
the same way
have
sometimes.
this. Yeah, he doesn't have, these things, but it's useless
You
for me
should
to
see
do
me
that.
around Christmas time. Once I get around that eggnog, forget about it. I'm a mess.
Yeah. So but the
Suck
thing
nog.
is, I don't want to compare myself to Kastuba, because Kastuba is beautiful and unique in his own way. He was born into this body for the reasons that he needed to be born in this body. You are born into this body for the reasons that you need to be born into this body, and so am I. And if I'm running 50 points, and Kastuba has run 50 points, and you have run 50 points, and Kastuba is somewhere else and I'm somewhere else, but who has run farther? We've all run 50 points, and we have to realize, or at least I have to realize, that this is where I am and I need to accept that. That's me. And there's Kastuba. It doesn't excuse me for doing the best I can, but it does help me to accept the situation for exactly what it is. And for me being in the exact place I need to be, exactly when I need to be there, and to learn exactly what I want to learn, or what I need to learn to move forward. So
Love it. Love it.
So if you're lonely, reach out, go to a meeting, talk to somebody, help somebody, go to a homeless shelter, dish out food. I love that. I actually tried to do that in Munich a bunch of years in a row, but there isn't really much poverty here. So there's not much of a need. It's always full.
You were like the
What a
only,
bummer.
you're only the person that
I
needed
know.
food.
I was like, I'll just serve myself.
That's called the salad bar, Jiva.
Yeah. So that's what's always helped me, going to meetings, sticking close to the people who understand me, sticking close to the people who are sticking with the winners, who are sticking with the program, who are trying to raise themselves better. And for somebody also to show love and to give love and reciprocal love. So
Love it.
that's it. So
We
thank you
have
so much for
some,
having me.
We have some
Thanks for
meetings
coming.
lined up for Christmas Day, Christmas Eve.
What's that?
Do we have some meetings lined up for Christmas Day and Christmas Eve?
Yeah, it's Monday, right? Is it Monday? Monday's
Monday, yeah.
Christmas. Yeah, there's the regular meetings on Monday. So it's actually Christmas Day. It's at 1:00 Eastern. It's Christmas evening, 25th evening in Europe.
Mhm.
24th is a Sunday. We have 2 meetings on Sundays. So we're all
Okay.
set. And what I will recommend is that, you can just jump on Zoom. No one needs to open the Zoom meeting on the BRG. So just go on Zoom, write it in the chat. Hey, I want to meet with somebody, and somebody out there on the chat will come and meet with you on Zoom for sure.
At any time.
Yeah, I mean, we're all over the world. So in India, and I mean, not that you're celebrating in India, but it's everywhere, and all the chats are all over the world in every time zone.
I see.
So I'm sure that if someone reaches out and says, I need someone, please do that. And I'm sure somebody, and I encourage everybody to show up for someone else.
I remember a
who
couple of
needs-
years back, someone was saying that the Bhakti Recovery Group at Christmas time, someone saved their life on the Bhakti Recovery Group.
Oh, you see, this is wonderful.
Is that right, Roga?
Someone save my life tonight. Jiva G.
Not me. It wasn't me.
Yeah,
Wasn't me.
you can do it. You can be that person for somebody. People are going through it, and that's why I wanted to bring you on today. And
Thank
thanks
you.
for sharing. And if anyone's out there going through a struggle, reach out. There's a lot of good people in this community, and we need each other to support each other. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. And thanks for everything that you do.
I lo-
Check out our podcast, Bhakti Recovery Podcast, on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get podcasts. Thank you for
Spotify
the-
or whatever. Thanks so
Thank you.
much.
Okay.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you,
me,
Jiva G.
guys.
See you
I
in
love you
India.
guys.
Harry
Love you.
Ball. All right. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated. Loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om jnana tamarandasya jnananjana salakaya chakshurunmritam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and our teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. All right. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16, Text 36. You know what I want to say, Kastuba?
Say it.
Me and Mara were in the car yesterday. We were just thinking about, we're just trying to make some future plans. And the future plans were like, well, we got the Bhagavatam. We got the Bhagavatam. We got to make sure we have time for the Bhagavatam. It's like the Bhagavatam, whether it's practical or impractical with the course of the day, doing the podcast every day, it's like it's leashed us to Krishna. We can't go anywhere without hearing the Bhagavatam because there's always this accountability. It's such a powerful thing to be part of this community, even as one of the presenters of it. And Mara, do you want to add anything to that statement?
No, I was just expressing my gratitude for having this daily accountability, daily practice of reading wisdom.
You were one of the original people, Mara. You went to Raga and said, let's study something in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how the whole thing started.
It was.
Here we are, 5 years later almost.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive into this Bhagavatam. It's getting magical here. Lord Vishnu is appearing.
Lord Vishnu has appeared, and
King Chitraketu is just like, oh, he's gushing.
he's offering heartfelt prayers now.
And here he goes. This is text 36. Chitraketu speaking to Lord Vishnu.
Yeah.
You exist in the beginning, middle, and end of everything. From the most minute particle of the cosmic manifestation, the atom, to the gigantic universe and total material energy. Nonetheless, you are eternal, having no beginning, end, or middle. You are perceived to exist in these 3 phases, and thus you are permanent. When the cosmic manifestation does not exist, you exist as the original potency. very interesting, Kostuba. Here is God appearing right before a person, and
Yeah.
the person's not asking for anything. They're just
No.
appreciating and glorifying. We live in a world where I say, okay, I want you to go into church. What's the first thing you do in church? You say a prayer or something generally. Please give, even if it's a good thing, please give me health. Please help me in my marriage, or please help me, please help my kids, something like that. You never necessarily see that so much in the Bhagavatam. And if you do see it, it's to lead you to pure devotion. And so here he is, King Chitriketu.
Well,
He's not
we
saying, help. Go ahead.
at the beginning of the story, that's where he was, right? He wanted a son.
He wanted a son.
He met a sage. What do you want? I need a son. Help me get a son. And now he's had the son. The son has died. He's suffered intensely because of it. Then he was given so many good instructions in that tragic excuse me, in that tragic moment. And he got, through reflecting on this wisdom in that tragic moment, it's transformed him. And then and when he became detached through that, he was given this meditation, right? And when you perform that meditation with a detachment, right, not searching for anything of this world through it, but you just kind of feel like, almost like you've gone through the ringer, and all of like the desire in you to try to enjoy this world has just been wrung out of you by this, by just the sufferings that you go through.
Right.
So then you're like a sponge. Like, if you take a sponge and it's full of water, you can pour water over it and it's just like running off the edges. It's saturated. But if you squeeze that sponge and get all the other water out, then you absorb whatever's poured into it.
Mm.
And so he had all of that I'm the enjoyer of the material world spirit just squeezed out of him by the tragedy. And then that was filled up with the wisdom of the sages, what Narada and Angira told him, and what his own son told him when he came back into his body, which really made him, ripe to hear.
Mm.
And so then Narada gave him, here, meditate on this. Meditate on these verses. And he meditated on them. Now Vishnu is in front of him. There's none of that is left in him anymore. It's all been squeezed out. And everything that's coming from him now, it's not the workings of a confused programmed mind. It's coming from within. It's coming from the soul, and it's all truth. It's all reality. And he's in ecstasy, feeling it and sharing these thoughts, these prayers.
You ever wonder? Do you ever pray for stuff? Do you?
Stuff?
Well, whatever.
No,
what do you pray for? What do you pray for?
Not to do that.
I know. Okay, that's good. What about if someone's sick? Do you pray for their health?
I don't exactly pray for their health, but I pray for God to enter their life in that circumstance, right?
I like that.
In whatever way God wants to. To do it.
Almost like I try to feel like I'm playing God if I'm praying for their health. Maybe God wants to take this person, and I'm trying to no, keep them alive. Maybe God wants to take them. Maybe it's this person's time to go.
Yeah.
I that's how I've been praying lately. It's like I'm sort of like, God, you know what I want. You know what to do. You got a better idea than you know what to do. You got a much better plan than me. I'm not even good at my own simple family planning, but you know what to do. Please, I pray for this person's connection.
Yeah.
Louis. Louis is in a coma. We think. Louis is one of the original guys on the podcast. And it's like I'm trying to figure out how to pray for this guy, and I pray that Krishna enters his mind, wherever his mind is, whatever his heart is, that Krishna is with him. I don't know if Krishna wants to take him out of this coma. I love to live. I love for him to live, so I could be with him and spend time with him and appreciate him. But maybe Krishna's got some other plan that he has to stay, and just maybe Krishna's quieting his mind so he can have this beautiful vision. And then releasing him, That's how I've been praying. Krishna, you have some plan. Please give this person connection wherever they go.
I've also been praying for Louis, for our Lord and Shringadev.
Good. That's great.
And for Alberil.
And for Alberil. Yes. Connection. Praying for connection. And all the people that love them's connection as well. All right. Every universe is covered by 7 layers: earth, water, fire, air, sky. the total energy and false ego, each 10 times greater than the previous.
Gobstopper.
Oh, it's 10 times greater.
I
That's
know.
interesting, huh? So the universe is covered by, in the same way our body's made up of these elements, the universe is made up of these. Is that crazy?
Well,
Each
you
10
know,
times greater. And what's the last one? What's the last layer that the Jiva has to climb out of? The
false
ego.
ego.
Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? And it's 10 times greater, and it's compound interest, so to speak,
Yeah.
of the layers. 10 times greater than that, 10 times greater than that.
So
And
7
that's the last
times.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, seven layers.
Well, yeah, because there's 7 elements. So, and then 10 times on each one. So it's 7, then 70, then 700, or not, whatever. If it's whatever if it's, let's say we're 1 mile thick, the first one, then it'd be 7 miles thick, 70 miles thick, 700 miles thick, 7,000 miles thick, 70,000 miles thick.
Kastuba doing trigonometry. Go.
But I read something once, Raghunath, because when we hear something like this, like, what are you talking about? Like the universe just has like a ton of earth around it, and then a ton of fire around it, then a
Yeah,
ton
what
of air
does it
around
mean?
it.
I don't even know. I mean, I've just accepted, like, I can't understand this,
Yeah.
but I could get it a little bit. Like the
Well,
soul has to leave this shell. There's a shell, and then it's got to leave a
Gobstopper
subtle,
shell.
the gross shells of the fire, air, then the subtle shells, the mind shell, the mind of the universe, perhaps.
Well, I read something, and actually I believe it was a Bhagavad Gita commentary by Shankaracharya, of all people, of all sages.
Of all sages.
And the point that he made, not that it helped me all that much, but it did give me a clue. And I think this is important when we study things like this, how to understand something literally or something. He said like if you have like a plate of food, right? Let's say you have a bowl of soup, right?
Okay.
And someone comes in and pours some poison in the soup, right? Now we call the whole bowl of soup poison, right? Oh, that's poison.
Sure.
It's not like it's a bowl of poison. It's a bowl of soup with some poison in it. But we call it, now that poison is in there, the whole thing in a sense is as good as poison. And so these layers around the universe, Shankaracharya is saying it's like that. Like one we call earth because there's an earthy element within it.
Right.
The next one we call water because there's a watery element within it. It doesn't mean like it's necessarily like just 100% earth and 100% water, but it was like that. That's the example he used.
Yeah. But what
Interesting.
How do you get it? It is very interesting. How do you get out of it? How do you get out of, I guess, yeah.
You get out of it by Krishna's mercy.
Yeah. We tend to think we can think or figure it out. You can't figure it even, you can't even figure it out. We don't even understand them. It's like being at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. I wish you went to the Grand Canyon so we could have this analogy together. But if you're at the bottom of the Grand Canyon and you were to look up, it seems like you're at the top, or seems like you can see the top. But if you were to go to that top, the canyon goes out and up again. And then it thinks like, oh, that must be the top. And then it goes, and if you get to that point, it goes out and up again. You can't even see the top. Yeah.
Down in the Snake River Canyon?
That's not the Snake River Canyon. That's another place, Prabhu.
Is it?
Come on, get your national parks down.
I don't know. That's what they always said. Clean Evil was jumping over the Snake River Canyon.
That wasn't there. That's a different canyon.
I guess it's a different canyon.
There's many canyons.
Are they related to each other in some way?
Not at all.
All right.
I've rock climbed the Snake River Canyon.
Okay.
Yeah. But my point is, we are so at the bottom and our senses are so limited that we can't even figure out the map. So if we're trying to figure out how to get out of our own way, good luck. We can't. You can get some little insight, some little blurb on Instagram, some self-help guy, some life coach. Good luck. But Krishna can actually hold you by the hand and walk you out. God can hold you by the hand and assist you to let go of these things you're attached to and give you causeless knowledge. Name the verse. Name the verse.
God can take you by the hand and give you causeless
knowledge. Not by the hand, but causeless knowledge and free from attachments. First
second
verse.
Second chapter. Give me the first word again. Jana Yadyasu Vairagyam Gyana Chadyata Hoitakam. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. Jana Yadyasu Vairagyam Gyanam Chadyata Hoitakam. That's what you wanted, right?
Yeah. Vasudeva
Okay.
Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Piyush. Okay. Continuing on.
Oh, did you finish that one though? This is an incredible
I
verse.
didn't
Did you get
finish
the
it.
whole
Okay.
thing?
I get inspired and just stop talking, I guess. There are
Stop
innumerable
reading and
universes.
keep talking.
There are innumerable universes besides this one. Isn't it interesting, huh? We just think we're trying to figure out this universe. There's innumerable ones.
Okay.
And although they are unlimitedly large,
Yeah.
they move about like atoms in you. Right? Our whole body's like a universe, man. Imagine a germ boy in my body. Germ boy trying to figure out my body. He has no idea there's a whole nother body right here. Germ boy bacteria is living in my body. He has no clue about Mara's body.
That's
Huh?
true.
We're a
It's
germ
a whole
boy.
nother universe.
It's a whole nother universe. Therefore, you were called unlimited. Ananta.
Ananta.
Ananta. O Lord, O supreme unintelligent persons who thirst for sense enjoyment and worship various demigods are no better than animals in the human form of life.
Okay.
Because of their animalistic propensities, they fail to worship your lordship, and instead they worship the insignificant demigods, but who are all but
Who?
sparks of your glory. You know, with the destruction of the entire universe, including the demigods, the benedictions received from the demigods also vanish. Just like the nobility when a king is no longer in power. The demigod worship or praying to God for stuff, it's almost like being, I'm caught in a prison cell. And you can say you can get whatever you want, anything, whatever. Yeah, I want a bar of soap. I want a new bar of soap. Yeah, I want some new prison clothes. I want some. I want another chair in my prison. This is what's going on in the material world. Instead of like trying to get out of birth and death, we're just praying for more stuff within the prison cell, and then we're feeling like
better
that
cell,
could be
better prison.
even with good karma. We want good karma. I get my astrological chart done. I got bad karma. That's a problem. I got to counteract that planet. That's a malefic planet. I got to wear this gem. It's inauspicious. I got to do a puja. I got to do some mantra to a demigod. No.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm just going to stop there. O Supreme Lord, if persons obsessed with material desires for sense gratification through material opulence worship you, who are the source of all knowledge and are transcendental to the material qualities, they are not subject to material rebirth, just as sterilized or fried seeds do not produce plants.
Hmm.
I'm going to read that again. That's sort of interesting, huh? If persons obsessed with material desires for sense gratification through material opulence worship you, who are the source of knowledge and transcendental material qualities, they are not subject to material rebirth, just as sterilized fried seeds do not produce plants. So
In
they're
other
saying
words,
that if you are materialistic, but you end up worshiping Lord Vishnu, he will fry up your desires. That's
yeah, he was saying that there are people that worship the demigods, and you know, I know to people that are new to this, it just all sounds weird, but the idea is, try to think of it like this: that this was a sophisticated, universal worldview, you know, kind of a guidebook to that, saying that behind the sun there's a person, right? Behind the moon there's a person. Behind the river and the mountain there's people, and we can call them demigods, you know, empowered beings, and that because they provide for us, because these beings are invested with much greater intelligence, much greater ability, much greater opulence, that you can focus on them, meditate on them, you can ask them, you know, for the things of this world. And in the previous verse, he was saying that people that do that, in one sense, they're no better than animals, because they're just searching for the same thing, right? An animal is searching for food, it's searching for sex, it's searching for shelter, and more or less you're searching for those same things in a sophisticated way, right? I want wealth in this world, I want opulence in this world, I want power, I want sex, or I want them in the higher planets. You're asking for the same thing that animals ask for. Now he's saying, now if that's where you're at, but instead of going to the demigods, you go to the all purifying root of all existence, you worship Krishna for those same things, then even though you're asking for the wrong thing, because you've come in contact with that all purifying source, right? What is it? Om apavitra pavitro va. You know, it's like when you just think of Krishna as purifying, then that through that, those desires that you have, it's just like if you take a seed and you fry it in a frying pan, you can plant it in the ground, nothing's going to grow from it. And similarly, when all of the desires in our heart contact Krishna through our meditation on him, it just fries them. And so you become free of all those desires.
Krishna fried my desires.
Fry it out.
It's interesting. Krishna fried our desires.
I still have some.
I've got some desires. Although all you got to do is think it through, right? Think those desires through. I want to do that. Especially when you get a little older, you think it through. You know, when I was younger and I had a desire, I'd be like, well, maybe I could just manipulate this and go that way and try this out. And, you know, no one's going to have to understand anything about this. But as I get older, I was like, you're like, oh, I got a desire. And then you're like, who cares? You know what I mean? It's just a little, you've been through that before. You've been there, done that, and it's not as shiny as it actually appears.
That's right.
Oftentimes that it appears like a diamond, but it's a piece of jagged, broken glass.
Well, you're thinking like Kylie Brown over here on the chat board, because she brought up the example of Dhruva Maharaj, who exactly went through that.
What? And that's the exact same quote. Dhruva, I'm thinking like Dhruva Maharaj. All right, where are we at? Text 30, text 40,
No,
text
30.
40, 39. Okay,
40.
I didn't finish that. I
You
didn't
didn't
finish
finish
that. Again.
Living entities.
Living entities are subjected to the repetition of birth and death. We don't even get that, do we? We don't even believe that.
I do.
Because if we did, it would change everything. Living entities are subjected to the repetition of birth and death because they are conditioned by material nature. But since you are transcendental, one who is inclined to associate with you in transcendence escapes the conditions of material nature.
Nice.
I mean, you don't believe in birth and death? Just you don't believe in like the cycles of life? We're making the same stupid mistakes in this life. We're going around in circles, right? We even say that. We even say, I'm going around in circles. I'm doing the same stupid thing I did last year. We're going in patterns and we're almost like helpless within this life. So we're just taking this up a notch and seeing it in bigger circles.
That's right.
Text 40. Text 40. You sit so still when you listen to me. You're really focused.
I'm taking it in, Raghunath.
I know. I was like, is he frozen? Should I keep speaking? Does anybody hear me? Oh, conquerable one. When you speak, I'm like
Unconquerable.
fidgeting. I'm scratching picking my ears. I'm like always stretching and oh, conquerable one. When you spoke about
Unconquerable, right?
oh, unconquerable one.
There you go.
When you spoke about Bhagavad Dharma, which is uncontaminated religious system for achieving the shelter of your lotus feet, that was your victory. Persons who have no material desires, like the Kumaras, who are self-satisfied sages, worship you to be liberated from material contamination. In other words, they accept the process of Bhagavad Dharma to achieve shelter at your lotus feet.
Okay.
Now we're doing the
Bhagavad
same.
Dharma, there's so many different types of Dharma. And again, one can be dharmic to get the things of this world. Bhagavad Dharma means no. I'm connecting with love to Bhagavan, right? To the source of all existence. That's Bhagavad Dharma.
Being full of contradictions. All forms of religion but Bhagavad Dharma work under the conceptions of fruitive results and distinctions of you and I, and yours and mine. The followers of Srimad Bhagavatam had no such consciousness. They are all Krishna conscious, thinking that they are Krishna's and Krishna is theirs. They are other low-class religious systems. Ooh. There are other low-class religious systems which are
Lower Dharma.
which are contemplated for the killing of enemies or the gain of mystic power. But such religious systems, full of passion and envy, are impure and temporary. You believe that? Because they are full of envy, they are full of adharma or irreligion. Think mystic
Right.
powers are
People
filled with
have
envy?
trouble.
Huh?
People have trouble. Oh my God, this sounds sectarian. Oh, it's judgmental. Oh, it's
I don't
But
think it's
no, no, no.
judgmental to say
W-
things are different.
It's saying whatever tradition you come from, within that, you're going to find some people that are approaching it for the wrong reasons or for less pure reasons.
Hmm.
And in the same tradition, you're going to find other people that are approaching it entirely purely, only wanting love, just
Mhm.
placing love as the highest principle. So that's not sectarian. That's saying all the different groups, all the different traditions have both low and high thinkers. And so let's recognize that, and let's begin to orient whatever tradition we're in. Let's begin to orient our minds to the higher thinking.
We three kings of Orient are. I used to think it was we three kings of Orient are. I was like, where's our Orient are? Get it?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You don't know we three kings of Orient are bearing gifts. We travel so far. I
I
used
read
to think it
somewhere
was
that actually there's nowhere where it says that there are three of them.
the three wise men. I don't know. Someone.
It's not there in the Bible. It just mentions
help us.
wise men come, but maybe everyone thinks it's three because they mention gold, frankincense, and myrrh, right?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. That's what I
They
read.
were not from Orient are. They were from the Orient. Now, and then I start thinking maybe they're from India.
A lot of people think that.
You know what I mean? Maybe the Indian sages showed up bearing gifts to this prophet child.
Yeah.
How can religious systems that produce envy of oneself and others be beneficial for oneself and for them? What is auspicious about following such a system? What is actually to be gained by causing pain to one's own self due to self envy, and by causing pain to others? One arouses your anger and practices irreligion. Laying it out here.
Yeah.
Why? Because there's, mystical, metaphysical scriptures, books, teachings that don't necessarily hold hands so much with Bhagavad Dharma. It can be riddled with a lot of other ideas, desires, passions, etc. My dear Lord, one's occupational duty is instructed in the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita according to your point of view, which never deviates from the highest goal of life. Those who follow their occupational duties under your supervision, being equal to all living entities, moving and non-moving, and not considering high and low, are called Aryans. Such Aryans worship you.
Choose one.
Aryans. Such Aryans worship you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is another word stolen by Nazis, Aryans. It means like the civilized people.
Refined.
It means a refined person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. If you were to read this verse, Kostuba, it's like, I love how this book points to, look, people, there's a system here. There's things to do. There's things
cosmic
not to
order.
do. Huh?
Yeah.
What's that?
There's a cosmic order.
There's an order, your point of view, which never deviates from the highest goal. There is a goal of life. Most people don't wake up in the morning and think, oh, I got to achieve my goal. The people just live. They don't think like there is a reason why we live. There's a reason behind what we're doing. There is a goal to this existence. And I think without that, life can be just sort of like, whatever. Like, what am I doing? Slugging it out in this world. We have to understand there's a highest goal. Then there's other goals that we fit within. Our other goals should fit within that highest goal. We live in a goalless culture, and people become sad because of it.
Or we choose goals that aren't so valuable. Yeah.
Yeah. Or we find in time they're not so valuable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My dear Lord, it is not impossible for one to be immediately freed from all material contamination by seeing you. It is not. My Lord, it is not.
It's not unusual.
It is not impossible for one to be immediately freed from all material contamination by seeing you.
Maybe it would have been easier to read if it said it is possible for one, rather than say it is not impossible. It's a double. It's a double negative.
Yes, that's what. Okay.
It's not
Not to speak.
unusual.
It's is it not impossible or not unusual? It's not
It's not unusual.
unusual. Okay, it's not. Got Kostuba. I was like, don't say it. Don't sing it. Not to speak of seeing you personally, merely by hearing the holy name of your lordship only once, even Chundalas. That's like a low class dog eater. Men of the lowest class are freed from all material contamination. That's hard to believe, Kostuba. Under you hear what this statement saying, Kostuba? Under the circumstance, who will not be freed from material contamination simply by seeing you? Are they saying, Kostuba, that you could perform tons of sinful activity and then you chant the holy name once and you're freed from all that bad karma? Is that what they're saying?
Potentially.
Potentially, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, my dear Lord, simply by seeing you has now wiped away all the contamination.
Okay.
of
So he's
sinful
putting
activity.
himself in that position, right? Look at me. I'm a low life, he's saying.
Right? He's not, but he's saying that. He's seeing himself as tiny.
Because he's seeing his previous attachment to having the son and that being the most important thing. He's seeing, when you love someone dearly and you've been focused on something else, it's almost like he's seeing I was trying to live and find love separately from you, God. And now I'm seeing that as being like unfaithful, like you've been here all along with nothing but love for me, nothing but care for me, nothing but support for me. And I was ignoring it, trying to find happiness somewhere else. So he's feeling a sense of deep regret from that. And he's saying, like, I'm the Chandala, right? I'm the low class person. But by bringing my mind to you, it's burned all of that away, and now I'm feeling this ecstasy.
Lucky.
Yeah. So he says it, therefore, my dear Lord, simply seeing you has now wiped away all the contamination of my bad karmic, and the results, all my bad karmic results, all my material attachment, all my lusty desires, which always filled my mind and the core of my heart. Whatever is predicted by the great sage Narada Muni cannot be otherwise. In other words, I've obtained your audience as a result of being trained by Narada Muni. This he's just got everything right, It's like, this isn't on me. Narada put this all together. All I had to do was follow what he said and look at the results.
Alrighty.
Stay with me, Early. Stay with me.
47.
46.
Oh, okay. Oh, unlimited supreme personality of Godhead, whatever a living entity does in this material world is well known to you because you are the super soul. In the presence of the sun, there is nothing to be revealed by the light of a glowworm.
Glowworm, we're just talking about those.
Yeah, we're talking about glowworms. Similarly, because you know everything, in your presence, there's nothing for me to make known. Nothing for me.
I'm giving this long monologue here, but in front of you, what's the point? This might seem like some great monologue in some other setting that was dark, but you're here lighting everything up. What are my words?
Guess what? It's time, my friend.
All right.
You light up my life, Kostuba. You give me hope. Okay, go on.
All right, I got some good takeaways today.
Hey, Mara.
What you got?
Art is channeling the divine download.
Oh.
You all right?
Yeah.
We talked about that when we had Ananta Govinda. By the way, which got more clicks than any of our YouTube videos ever. That one got like 60,000 or something like that. Or more.
Wow.
70, 80,000, some crazy number.
Like a collection
For
of
us.
karma going on. Let's get him back on the show. We need the clicks.
Moving everything around on the
Bring him out on
screen.
Sunday.
Clarify your thoughts on Krishna.
Clarify them.
Verify your thoughts on Krishna.
The good, the bad, and the ugly shall pass.
Yep.
All gonna pass. That was
Even the
Jiva G,
good.
life coach.
Yeah.
Even the
Another
good.
one from Jiva G. I can't save my face and my ass at the same time.
I don't know if we can use that for the title, but I would if I could.
Yeah,
I like that. I like
it's a
that.
good one.
What about the boat? You got that one too?
That
No.
can't choose your life.
You can't choose the color of your lifeboat.
You can't choose the color of your lifeboat. Oh yeah. Was that it, Chiva? Write that on the board. I can't remember.
Let the grind bring us higher.
The grind.
Let the grind.
Don't pray for more stuff within the prison cell.
Yeah.
Get
You like that one?
out.
Like that one, Costube?
Sure. Jello.
I want more Jello, please. Extra servings of Jello, please. No, just get out of the jail.
It's like on Christmas, maybe they put a little whipped cream on the Jello.
Oh, thank you so much for the Cool Whip. Do you remember Cool Whip? I can't believe we ate that.
Oh,
Now
people
they've like
still eat it.
rebranded it. It's vegan plant-based whipped cream. Oh, incredible.
It's like margarine and country crock being rebranded as like, oh, we're plant-based butter. It's like now it's having a huge comeback.
Like, oh, country crock. Oh, have you ever
Best
heard of it?
vegan
It's
butter.
the best vegan butter ever. It's like country crock. Are you kidding me?
It's country crock. Tub of that stuff.
Connect with love to the source.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
Orient our minds to higher thinking.
We three kings of Orient are
And
Mhm.
bearing gifts. We travel so far. Yonder we can still pursue.
Krishna, please fry my desires.
Fry 'em.
Cook it up.
We're having a desire fry. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks to all the
Hey, you know
people
what
on
Friday
the
is,
stream showing
Rogana?
up. Friday's Friday. Get it? Frying our
Oh,
desires.
Nice. No, but it's also it's here.
Oh yeah.
Gita Jayanti.
It's Gita Jayanti. It's the
We-
day that Gita was spoken.
And,
Isn't that
and we're
exciting?
gonna
Let's read the
we're
entire
gonna-
Gita.
I don't know if we
We
can
should
do
read
that
it.
in an hour. Oh, you
No,
can
no,
do it during the
Not
day.
you and me. I'm talking Mara.
Okay. And I think we might be able to get Vaishesh Prabhu on the show that day. And we can kick off because this year we want to do a Gita drive, donating Gitas, cases of Gitas. You with me?
Yeah, yeah.
Look at me, Ray.
What was the plan though?
The plan is that we can kick it off on that day and it'll end on the 7th, but they got this goal of how many Gitas they want to distribute around the world. So we can help with that. Okay?
And it's a Kadasi.
And it's a cover.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. Make sure you check out, if you care, the podcast I'm doing on New York Hardcore Chronicles
New York Hardcore
live,
Chronicles.
3 to 5 Eastern Time. Go to YouTube and search for New York Hardcore Chronicles. With Ray Ruckenoff. That's me. Talking about my new book and life in general.
Maybe
And
a little bit
I
about
wanna
the
thank everybody for joining us
podcast,
on
right?
Zoom.
That's a little bit about the podcast.
Huh? Talk about
a
Wisdom of the
little bit
Sages, of course, buddy.
There you go.
Always
There
talk
you go.
about Wisdom of the Sages.
All right.
I'm gonna wear the t-shirt around. Maybe I'll wear the t-shirt today. And if you want to join us live on Zoom, if you're listening out there, email there, Miss Mara, wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. Remember, go to wisdomofthesages.com, sign up for our mailing list, and check out our events. Go to roganoff.yoga, sign up for my mailing list, yo. Follow, like, share, everybody out there. Organically spread this message to people who need it. And guess who needs it? Everybody needs the message of the Bhagavatam.